Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Fat Lady Knits. I'm glad you have a few minutes to spend with me today. And, hmm, where do I start today? Um, well, let's start with what's in the background. That's a hanging organizer. It's not attached to the wall, it's not a freestanding anything. It's off of Amazon and they have a nice bright pink. But I decided to try the blue. And it has one, two, three, four, five, six shelves in it so that you can put yarn. Well, you can put whatever it is you're organizing. I decided to put yarn, and what I was thinking is to put what I'm going to be using next down here, because as you can see, it's already wound into well, it's not. Is it? Does this qualify as a cone? I guess so, but it's on a cone, and it's just that it's not that tapered wooden, not wooden. What's that? Cardboard? Well, that's wood, but it's not that tapered cord that you're used to. So they're one. I have winded them. Is that right? Well, you can see they're prepared to go through the circular sock machine, or even my flatbed knitting machine if I had to. So those are going to be the next set of yarns that I use. And then here I have, what are these? These are my opals. I have this in so many different colors. I wish this was all pink and gray. Instead, it's a pink, then a big thing of gray, then more. If it was just all pink, fabulous, fabulous. But this series, because these are like that too. It's a nice color, and then all this gray. Oh, that fell. Let's see. Can you see that? You see how nice color and then boop, gray. Yuck. But it is what it is. Maybe what I'll do when I'm working on it is cut out the gray when I get to it because I really like the color, not the gray. Maybe I can just put the gray at the toe or at the cuff. Who knows? It's me, it's my yarn, it's my machine. So I'll do what I want. Okay, and where's that one? Put it back where it came from. I don't want to hear any noise. You know how certain people get, they talk about your yarn being all over the place. Well, that noise, that was an agreement over there. But we leave that alone. What am I going to talk about today? You know what's on my table? Attempted. Doesn't it look like a mess? It looks like a mess. All these hanging threads. What was I doing? What was I thinking? Okay, let me start with the first ones I did. And how can I tell? Yes, this was the first one I did. Because it's a circular sock machine, because it's a circular machine, it may have been designed to do socks. You can do gloves on it, because what are gloves? So I decided to try some gloves. Okay, so excuse all the hanging threads, because they're an experiment or a work in progress, however you call it. And maybe it's just me, but I don't like these. I love the cuff. It's the ribbing, there's no seam, fabulous. The up to here, no seam. I love it, I love it, I love it. What don't I love? First, this first one that I did, I find the thumb is really square and it's big. I'm a big lady, and even my thumb isn't as big. I mean, there's room in there for another finger. So I don't like that. And then what I really don't like is that you end up with a seam. There's a seam, there are two sides here that you have to seam together so that you can close the finger. I don't like that. I really, really don't. I I don't know, for some reason in my head, excuse me there, I thought I could just keep doing circles and I was like, yeah. And then I did it and I was like, wait a minute, let me try the other finger. Same thing, two sides, all of them that you have to seam. My first instinct was to tear it out. It really was. And then I've got these hanging threads so I can close up the seam. And then I thought, well, maybe I should do a rib by hand. I'm like, why do I want to do that? That seems like so much trouble. I must say, I am really, really unhappy with this. So I put it down because my instinct was to rip it out, just let it rip. But I said, no, let's hold on. Let's try something. Let's try something. And the first thing I tried was what? I went back. I've had a lot of water. I don't know what's going on with my throat. So I tried to change the thumb and make it a little smaller but longer, and that kind of worked, so that now my thumb doesn't look as though I stuck it in a lumberjack's glove. Okay. And what's this? This is just waste yarn, because once you finish the tube, you have all these stitches that are live that you're going to be working on. So I just took it off on waste yarn, and then I hang the stitches I'm going to work on. So this is here. But you know what? If I finally find a design that I like, I think this would be a really nice design element in the middle of your sock. A pop of color. And since it's garter stitch, well, it's the other side of the stockinette stitch. It looks really, I think it looks really neat, and it matches my glasses. So it has something to recommend it. So in this one, oh, and this one, I made the cuff longer. I didn't realize with all these, I needed something that went under, because I don't like my wrist being cold when I'm outside. And I really, really, these look slightly crooked. What have I done? Oh boy. Let's just take them off till I can figure that out. As I said, I don't like my wrist being cold, so I made it longer. So 2 improvements. The cuff is longer, but that's simple. And the thumb is not as wide, so it fits this thumb really well. Because as a crafter, I protect my hands. I do not want arthritis or anything else that could interfere with my manual dexterity. Okay? So those 2 I didn't like. So I said to myself, you know what? How about I just do some fingerless mitts? This one also, all these hanging threads. And I did this, and I wasn't paying attention. So once again, the ribbing is short. I should have made it longer. And I like this. I've never really been into those fingerless thingies. I prefer the idea of the short fingered gloves, but I like the fact it's a tube. There's no seam except on the thumb. So I said, well, let me try it again. And I became distracted, and what I planned to do, I didn't do. I was supposed to, I've given up on the thumb. It's just going to be open and I'll have to seam it. I was supposed to do a picot right here so that I could fold this down inside and have a nice picot the way I do when I do the socks. And I was going to do it, I'm not sure how now, but it was the idea in my head to do it so it was on a diagonal. But it needed, yeah. Okay, because, yeah. So I seem to have this thing, I don't like seams. That's probably why I love the circular sock machines. Unless you're trying to, you don't have a seam except at the toe where if you kitchener. And let's think about it. You don't have to start your sock from the cuff. You can start your sock from the toe so that you don't have a seam. I just don't do it because I find 2 reasons. I find that you have to turn the tension up, or you're really stretching the stitches to get that closed toe, and I need something to do when I'm riding public transportation. Because if you ride public transportation in a major city, there's always some sort of drama going on. Whether it's people fighting, or they've turned the power off, or the signals aren't running, or somebody pulled the emergency brake. You never ever know. So I need something to do to keep my mind off whatever's going on around me. Okay? But maybe one day I'll make a sock from the toe up so you can see. The thing though is, if you make the sock from the toe up, you don't have to Kitchener. But when you get to the last row of the cuff, you have to cast that off. And they're people, they're patient, they're very good. They can sit with a latch tool or just a needle from the circular sock machine and latch off their cuff. I don't have the patience for that, okay? Because then I can't do sock snakes like that. Or could I? You know what? One day I will try and we'll see, okay? But as I said, I was so looking forward to doing gloves on the machine. I am disappointed. And I can't believe I became so distracted. I forgot to do the picot. I just kept going in a circle. It was probably such a relief not to have a seam. I just kept going in a circle and I did not stop to do the picot. So I took it off the machine and I'm looking at it and I'm like, something's wrong. Yes, something's wrong. I forgot. Oh. So, as I've said, my first instinct is to pull all of these out because I don't like them. Okay? But maybe I should finish them and hold on to them as samples, because you never know what. Somebody might ask me something and I might need to refer to one of them. Okay? And so I will finish them and I will keep them as is, because my plan was to finish. I thought I was going to have, where is it? The finger ones. And I was going to dye this so that we'd have a batch of color and each finger would be a different color. Oh my God, I had plans for this. Now I have to summon the energy to actually finish it because I don't like it. And I am like a 3-year-old. I don't like it. I'm not doing it. I don't care what. But I need to be disciplined and finish it. So at least I have it as a sample. And if anyone says to me, oh, why don't you make gloves? I can go, here you are. First and last. But you know what I'm thinking? I have flatbed knitting machines with ribbers. I have at least 3 ribbers. We won't talk about how many flatbed machines I have. What I could do, because I could do the cuff on the circular sock machine, I could do up to the thumb here, and what I should do is then cast it off on waste yarn and take it over to the flatbed machine and finish it so that I can do, it will do circular knitting. It will knit in the round. Now this is so funny. The flatbed knitting machine with ribber is now having to come to the rescue of the circular sock machine. For years, I have been complaining because the circular sock machine, when you work in the round, any stitch you want has to be hand manipulated. While it's doing work in the round, it does not allow you to pattern. Oh, you don't know. I have cussed Brother out. I've cussed Passive out. I've cussed Silver Reed out. And I'm like, when they were designing these machines, why weren't they talking to me? Oh, now that's interesting. Doesn't it look as though my lip has like a river down the middle? It's not. Probably I have not been using enough lip balm to keep it moist during the winter. And it tends to be dry in here. Okay? So I'm not bleeding. I didn't go out and get Those rings I see women, they're so brave. Those rings I see women put in their lip. And I'm one to talk. I have a nose ring, but this was nothing. I'm like, here, oh my God. I think I would need therapy. They'd have to knock me out. But it looks really nice on some people. But I'm not brave enough for that one. So, uh, so much for, what's this? Fingerless mitts and gloves on the circular sock machine. This is not my cup of tea. No. Back to the drawing board. Maybe I should stick to socks? Nah. But it was fun. At least I learned what I don't like and what I don't want. Okay? So, as I said, next time, cuff, start of palm of hand, take it off. Now that leaves me with a problem. I have to match the tension from the circular sock machine to the flatbed. Now that should be an adventure in itself. But I'm going to do it. And when I do, I'm going to show you so you can see how close I get. And you see, I test my patterns in plain white because I need to be able to see it. But I think if it's successful, once I finish showing it to you, I am dyeing that one. It's going to be every color I can get into it because I want some really, really colorful gloves. Okay? Who knew I could go on and on about gloves? Or almost gloves because they're not even finished. Is there anything anyone can say to me to make sure I am disciplined enough to finish these things? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well, it's back to the drawing board. I hope you are more successful with what you're doing than I was with these. Okay? Thank you for spending some time with me today. I'll catch you next time. Bye.